We're going to take a tour of the farm first. That's Walter. Going to take a tour around the farm. This is probably the third or fourth farm that I've made so far. This is one of the starter games. The buildings were here. Any of the vehicles that you see, I bought since. There's an area you can keep bees. As you can see, after some honey is produced, it gets in this little area here. There are suits that you have to wear. I don't know if wearing those suits helps you at all, but let's go around. This is a silo. It's empty right now. One of my tractors. Everything's out of place right now. I have a chicken coop. Once you get out, go to this area. It shows there's 771 eggs in this pile and 1,000 in this one. If you also look under where it says chicken coop, it says 361 animals. I have 361 chickens in here, but obviously it doesn't look that way. The production is with 300 and some odd chickens, but I guess it would be a problem with graphics for you to be able to show that many chickens in that area. Here's some of the vehicles I bought. If you notice, I have $324,000, but I didn't come upon that the way it's supposed to be done. What you can do is go to an area here, buy used vehicles, fix them up and sell them for more money than you paid. Moving on, this is some of the equipment I have. It's a front loader for one of the John Deere tractors, a seeder, a sprayer for herbicide, this is a roller, which comes up in the game often, one of my older cultivators, a plow, obviously used well, the paint's coming off. Over time you can get that fixed. This is a weeder, another large cultivator, another seeder or planter, and one of the most important parts of the game is a power washer. In the game, you're given an avatar you can make yourself. I've made myself without the hat. I have no hair. For some reason, when I put the hat on, I have hair. So let's go to some of the crops we got here. This is sunflowers. For some reason, I've always liked sunflowers. My grandfather used to have those in the backyard. Some of the info that the box is giving you there is that it's owned by me. It's growing sunflowers, which is a crop type. Growth is growing. Sometimes it'll say that it needs to be plowed, harvested, things of that nature. Yield bonus, because of the way I've grown it, is 97%. It's 100% fertilized. In this game, you fertilize once after you, I believe it's after you plant, and then again once after the plants start growing. On this farm I have, I believe it's 3 crops: corn, soybean, and what else? Sunflowers. You just saw those. I believe these are soybean. Yep, soybeans. Pretty much the same thing as with the sunflowers as far as the yield and fertilization. This is some of the land I have. These are very small fields. I'll show you each of the fields, and then I'll show you some of the game features, such as jobs that you can get. This is one of my outbuildings. This one, as well as the green building, I guess I'll say over yonder. I built those after the fact. If you notice, these fields are quite small compared to what you would see in a regular farm. This is another field I have out here, which is a little bit off the property, but all of this is corn. This is one of the larger fields. We'll go back onto the property. Try to back up a little bit so you get a little bit of a perspective of the farm. Here's some of my chemicals. This is lime, which is pretty important in the game. You have to use that before you even plant. And this is some of my, I don't know if it's herbicide or herbicide. I know if it's a herbicide. Probably starts with H. I'm not sure. Is it herbicide or herbicide? I'll go to the other side of the farm, back out past the chicken coop. If you crash in this game, it doesn't cause damage, but there is damage over time once you use your products. This is some more land I purchased after I got extra money while I was selling machines. These are more soybeans, and I believe the soybeans go all the way to the trees. Excuse me. So this is the second of the farm simulators that I've played. I played Farm Simulator 22. I got that game for free on my PlayStation after a buddy of mine told me that it was free. I got it, played it for a couple months, and then of course they came out with Farm Simulator 25, which this is. Cost a few dollars, but in my opinion, well worth it. Probably played, I believe it's close to 300 hours on this game. Whatever the hours were that I played, I had my son figured out. I believe it was 15 days of gaming. This is another one of my vehicles. I'll get in it just so you can see what the inside of the vehicles look like. This has a sleeper cab. You can also toggle the radio. You have several channels you can use. Not really realistic on the music. When I'm in a tractor plowing, I like playing the country station. Let's go ahead and get out of here and continue the tour. A lot of the sounds and the gameplay are realistic in my opinion. If you notice at the top right now, it's May 9th. It's a sunny day, as you can tell because it's sunny. But I also had, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I have it on 10 times gameplay. There's times I do slow it down to realistic speed just because I have something I want to accomplish before the day is over. Some more crops I have on another piece of the property. You can look at the map that's on the bottom left. This is barley with a lot of weeds in it. That's what those things are. I purchased this with growth already on it, so I wasn't able to get rid of the weeds. They were too big before I even got the property. We'll move on to the last property I have. I think one of the guys I watch on YouTube calls these plowable acres. That's acreage on your farm that's usable for crops. This is the last one. Also, I bought this, but I plowed and planted this myself, emptying out the crops that were already here. Now, walking through this doesn't cause any damage, but driving on it does. I'll show you a little bit. I don't want to mess too much of my crops up, but if you look, it's not really messing this up, probably because it's too small, too light. Try to show you on another, when I have another machine going. If you look here, there's a barge going. Pretty realistic, which is one of the points of the game that I really like. The water looks real. You can also see at times steam and fog coming off the water, as you can see in the distance there. If I was further down by the water, you could actually hear little splashes from the waves. So this area here is where you can buy livestock. If you notice, there's some livestock in here. Livestock don't hurt you. When I was a kid, I was very afraid of pigs. Try to get out of here. Areas like this are for dumping and picking up items that you'll use later. I probably should be using my cart, but I figured to show you. You can run on this game as well. There's sheep that you can purchase for your farm. So me being here seems to distract them, but at no point during the game do the animals hurt you, run you over, bite you, anything like that. I believe there's some cows over here somewhere. You could hear the bugs in the background. Different kinds of cows you can buy. Dairy cows. I believe you call them Angus cows. There's certain people you can talk to.
You
Ask him
chatty today?
questions.
Cool, me too. Let's chat.
I'd say I need help with animal husbandry.
Okay, where do you
I
have
talked to
issues?
her, and I have a lot of things I could ask. Specifically, let's go with chickens. She'll give you information about chickens, how to feed them, how to keep them, what equipment you need, and so on. That's something we'll explore later. Hop back in the buggy and go to the vehicle purchasing area. The gas station works. You do need gas in your vehicles at times. ATMs don't work. Sorry about that. This area here is where all your vehicles are purchased and picked up. All you have to do is on PlayStation hit the big middle button. Let's say you want to check out tractors. You have small tractors. Shows the horsepower on the bottom. Whether or not you own them is what the key is for. The shifting, I believe how much gas it takes, the maximum speed, how much it weighs, and I really don't know what the square is yet. Let's go on to some of the bigger tractors. I personally like John Deere, but those Case tractors are kind of nice looking. Fendt in class. Let's go ahead and pull out one of the monsters. Now you can look at these at different angles. You can change the design. Here you can change whether it's the United States design or European design. I wish you could get in these tractors while you're in this screen, but you can't. There's also different settings on this one. A broad crawler track. And back to the small one. One of the most important machines that you have in this game is your harvesters. Harvesters are my favorite, especially when you see them going down the street. I'll stop and watch them. Let's go with the biggest John Deere here. It's showing that it's 690 horsepower. The variable speed really doesn't matter to me. But if you look at the bottom there, it shows what it harvests. You've got wheat, barley, I believe it's canola. I believe that's corn, sunflowers, soybean, more corn, and then something else. Not really sure what those are. But it holds 16,200 liters, I believe that is. It weighs 26 tons. And again, there's the boxes. Don't really know what those mean. But you have different setups for your tires. You can use Michelin's, is usually what I switch to. You can change this to US. And the license plates, you can edit. Make those yourselves. Mine says KRob's Bro. Alright. So let me see what I can buy on the used market. Nothing really right now. I'll wait till we get a tractor there. Hopefully show what one of the big purchases and how much money you can make on it. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this and have one of my AI workers drive it back to the farm. So zoom in. I'm going to click on it with my R3 button. Go to create job. Hit go to and target position. I'm going to click X on that. I'm going to move it specifically where I want it to go. I like it being parked in front of uh, the house. So that's where I'll set it. And if you see at the bottom underneath here, it says start job with the square. I'll hit that. And let's go back to the view. And stranger's driving the vehicle now. Glad my wife's not seeing her driving my vehicle. But at this point we can switch to other vehicles that are on the farm. Now what I was doing here is I was clearing up some of this debris. So initially there's a certain amount of weight that you can pick up, but I use one of the modifications within the game to change that amount to a much higher weight. That way, let's say I wanted to come over here. Traditionally, I would have to use one of my front loaders to pick this up. But in this mode, I can actually hit the circle and pick this up. So since I have it up, I'm going to go ahead and take this over to the kiosk and sell it. It's a little bit of a walk, but while I'm hitting the speed button, I'm running a little bit. I'm going to take this over to the kiosk, which is just past the residence and at one of the 3 entries to the property. So what I'll do, if you see here, it says dump it off. Once I got close, it shows that 1,000 eggs gave me $2,295 in sold products. So doing that, I mean, having the chickens, it costs a little bit to buy them, but it doesn't cost me anything but food to maintain them. So instead of running all the way back, I'll switch to one of my vehicles. If you look again on the inside of these vehicles, are very realistic, though the names of the vehicles might not be that great. They look pretty good. I'll show you that in a second. So the AI worker dropped off the car. And this is, I believe it's Cabana, not sure. But I like parking this right in front of Walter. So when I switch the vehicle, let's go back to another vehicle. Back here, once I get out, I'm right at this area. This is the area where if it's nighttime, I can go here. Actually, you can do it at any time. I'll go here. I want to sleep till 6:30 in the morning. I'll hit sleep. You'll see the sun go across the sky. I switch from day to night. Then back to the AM again at 6:30. Now it's 6:30 in the morning on May 10th. That guy needs to just go. He's irritating me. Get back in the vehicle. There's also straps you can do on the Cabana. Sidekick is what they call it. For some reason, I'm not able to get back in there. I believe because it has it set up for me to pick something up, so I'm going to try to find something to pick up real quick. See, there's lights. Opening and shut the door. I believe I turned on my lights. Now they're off because it's daytime. Let's switch back to one of the vehicles. Hopefully I can get out of this mode. Let's go over to the bees and try to pick this up. Hopefully I don't get stung. Right now it seems to be stuck with that hand, if you can see it. Gotta figure out a way to get rid of that. Maybe I'll switch to a hand tool. Maybe that'll help. Yep, that did it. I put a hand tool on and get rid of it. So let's look at some of the jobs we have here. So I have a fertilizing job, pretty boring, and a weeding job. Let's go with one of the weeding jobs. So if you look at the bottom left, you can borrow items, which are those two, the tractor and the actual weeder. You can accept contract. Let's go with, just so we can utilize it, let's go ahead and go with borrow items. So those items cost me $519. So let's exit back out. And what we're going to do is switch vehicles until we get to those items. So if you see where we are again, we're at the dealership. There's times you can look in here and there's people in there, but not today. So let's get back in the tractor. You have to back up. We'll hook it up by hitting X. So let's see where we got to go on the map. We have to go to area 28 for this job, which is just north of us, if you look at the map. But we're going to have to go around about ways to get there. After playing for so long, I kind of know how to get there. But let's get lost together. All right. I typically like driving on the outside, but we'll drive on the inside so it's a lot quieter. So, there are stop signs. None of the AI players stop there. The stop signs and signs of that nature are the only ones that you can actually knock down. We'll come back later, it'll be back up. Got good city employees, I guess. So we're gonna go over to sector 28. So I can make this map bigger by hitting L1 and R3 until the map's that big. You're gonna be the arrow. So your mirrors work. Vehicles do come up behind you. We're gonna make this map a little bit smaller. The train tracks do have trains go on them. Luckily, the stop arms come down so you know to stop. But if you get hit by a train, it won't do any damage to you. But it may knock you in the water. You'll have a hard time getting it out. There's been a couple times that I've had to use a different vehicle to try to move the vehicle that got stuck in something. Another thing you don't want to do is run out of gas. If I had to use another vehicle to tow, push, things of that nature. You know, if you were actually on the farm, you could have somebody bring you out some gas, but I don't know if this game's capable of that yet. So I'm going to show you two ways once we get to Sector 28. Make the map a little bit bigger so I know where I'm going. Alright, we'll go ahead and go straight. Look at all the farmland out there. Again, as I was saying, size of, or the acreage on these plots are very small. Still a lot of fun. I believe they kept them small on this one, as they have on most of the maps, so you get used to playing the game. There's a lot of modified maps that have much larger acreage. I believe I just tried one out today before I started streaming. I believe some of those were 200 acres, 200 acre lots, or plots, I guess they would call them. So we're going to get to this property and we're going to start working it. So if you notice, we'll go past it before we get to the land. So as I was saying before, you can mess up the crops. See if we can drive over any. Well, maybe one of the issues is this isn't my land, so it's not going to let me mess it up. So first we're going to unfold this. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could eyeball it yourself. You could actually use an AI worker to do it. Or what I like to do is use my steering assist, which farmers have at times. They use GPS, and I don't believe it creates lines that are like a heads-up display, but like this game is. But let's go ahead and utilize this. If you look, now there's lines. Once I get back in, I will now lower my weeder. And what I want to do is follow this yellow line with the center of the tractor. And what this weeder is doing is sucking up the weeds. If you look in front of the tractor and then behind, you'll see there's a lot less of something. See if we can zoom in a little bit. Notice it's pulling up some stuff. So I believe what I have this doing is the headers first. The headers are the outside of the plot. I'm going to lift this weeder up while I turn. And I'll get myself another line. Line myself up pretty good. Lower the weeder by hitting the circle. And again, I will follow. Just follow the yellow line. It's like tracing. And once you get in a straight line, you can pretty much go at speed. Now, a lot of these tools like the weeder that's in the back, have a maximum speed. Seems like the max speed on this is about 7 miles an hour. So this tractor, I didn't look at it. I don't have this tractor, but this tractor could probably do between 24 and 30 miles an hour without a tool on the back. So I've completed our first header. Gonna raise that again and go into our second header. So if you notice, I was on the wrong line. I want to go on to the blue and the yellow. Let's zoom in a little bit so I can see. If I switch vehicles, you can always go back. All right, there we go. So we're gonna start our next header. I'm gonna go ahead and lower that weeder. And we'll go ahead and go. Again, 7-8 miles an hour. And it's pulling weeds out. Once we get part of this done, I will show you what I typically do when I do a job myself. Try to show you a little bit more of the jobs after I get this. So I'm complete with this line now. I can stop. I'll raise the header. I'm sorry. I'll raise the tool there. And back ourselves back into an area. So what I'm going to do now, instead of driving this myself, we're going to go back into the AI menu by holding the circle and go to the left where it says AI worker. So this is where you can have one of your AI workers work it, just like I had the lady drive it back, my sidekick back to the barn. I'm going to have an AI worker complete this job. Now, you do have to pay your workers. Don't really know how much, but that'll pop up. I'll try to bring it to your attention once it pops up. So I'm going to hit OK. I believe I have work the headers first is on. I'm sorry, I keep calling them headers. Headlands. Work the headlands is on, but I want them to start with the headlands on this. We're not skipping any lines. Skipping lines is if you want to have lines for your, let's say you're harvesting crops and you want to have one of your tractors pick up those crops from your combine as it's going. You're going to need some space in between. So right now I'm going to hit OK and go ahead and start. Since I've started, now all I have to do is tap the circle for the AI worker to start. And we'll try to zoom in so you can see. So that AI worker is going to now finish the land. And I can switch to another job by hitting the option button at the top right of my controller. So I'm going to try to find another job to work. So let's accept this fertilizer job. So at my farm, I already have several tractors and a fertilizer. So instead of borrowing these items for where it says equipment, right above where the tractor is, says use your own equipment or lease equipment for a reward reduced by $519. If you notice where it's highlighted, it says the job pays $1,671. If I reduce that by 519, yeah, I'm cutting my profits immensely. So what I'm going to do is, instead of borrowing items at the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and accept this contract. Okay, so I've accepted the contract of fertilizing. You see that at the top. So what I'll do now is I'll exit and go home to my fertilizer. I have fertilizer in my fertilizer already, so we'll just switch to one of my tractors at home. I like using this light one because it has uses less gas. It's a little smaller. Alright, let's exit again and get rid of this big map. So right now I want to detach this trailer that I already have hooked up to it. So I'll just oops. So instead of unhooking the trailer, I unhook the weight that's in front. So we're going to hook that back up. So if I hit triangle, if you look up in the top left where it says control group, if I hit triangle, where you see the little icon for the tractor, hitting triangle will switch it from front to back. So I want it to be on the back where the trailer is. I'll hit X and it'll drop my trailer. So we'll go ahead and drive over to my fertilizer. I believe it's only got 11% filled of fertilizer, but we'll go ahead and use it. We'll back up. And once that pops up on the bottom, I can hit X and it hooks up. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, instead of driving to this farm, we're going to go ahead and back up with L2 until I find my farm, find my tractor. We'll zoom in. We're going to activate it by hitting R3. We're going to create job, and instead of going to go to, we're going to do field work the same way we had the tractor travel. We're going to do field work. Again, hit X over the target position, and our field work is going to be in plot 13. So the AI is already set up. This is where I want them to start. So I'm going to hit R3 in this area twice. And I'm going to, again, hit the square for start job. So friends of mine who want to play this game might be playing it on the computer. Your controls are going to be different. I'm sure they would give you with the game uh, what buttons you have to push to utilize certain aspects of the game. So if you look close, let's go back to our tractors. So this guy is driving. Let's get off that. So this person has completed their job. So we'll go back to the map, to the job worked area. Instead of active, we're going to go over to the new. Now we'll go back over to active. It says this job's complete. So there's a lot of times that you want to utilize tractors that you've leased for 2 jobs. Okay? So if you utilize that tractor, I believe it was, it's $519. Let's see if there's another weeding job that we can use that same equipment for. So instead of borrowing items, I'm going to accept this contract. And instead of hitting complete, once you hit complete, it'll make that equipment that I leased for this job disappear. and pay me out for that job. So instead of going to complete, I'm going to go to the weeding job. I'm going to attempt to find that same tractor that I was using in sector 28. I'm going to click on it using R3 again, create job. Again, field work, hit X over target position, and I'm going to put this on the new field, which I forgot already. I don't really feel like looking. But let's say I didn't remember where it was, which I don't. I'll go back to the job area. So that weeding job is going to be an 82. So I'll go back up using L1, L2, L1, R1 to switch back and forth. So I'll go back to the map, see if I can locate yeah, locate the weeder with the tractor, click create job with X, again field work, find out where 82 is. 82 is here. So if you notice, there's not a road too close to this area. I have a problem getting to it sometimes, so what I'm going to do is have this tractor go to the end of this road, and we'll pick back up from there. I'm going to have my AI worker drive there, and I'll go ahead and start this job. So scrolling back down, this is the third job that I have going. Even though this job is complete, you can only have 3 jobs at a time. So it'll show you the progress of each job. If you look at this one, there's no progress because it's completed. My fertilizing is at 21%, so that should be done pretty soon. Because I own the equipment that I'm using to fertilize, I can go ahead and complete that job. So let's go look at the fertilizing. So when you're not using AI, you can change the spread on these. If you look at the top right, it's showing that it's 41% done. Now from here, we'll switch to the vehicles that are doing number 82. Still driving there. Because it's so loud, let's go ahead and walk around a little bit. You can hear a cow bell, but those aren't my cows. I got rid of those once I got another farm. This is my pride and joy right here. My combine. Let's get in this bad boy. Now these computers aren't usable. They're just for display. Again, you have the music. Let's turn it off. It's a little loud in here. It's loud in my ears. I'm not sure if you can hear all the noise that I'm hearing. Let's look at the farm a little bit while our AI workers are working those fields. Again, this is the inside of the farm. Little rooms here. A few things to look around at. Look down at my corn headers with the combine. I'd have to say the combine's my favorite machine. And when you start the game, it's probably one of those that's going to give you the most fun. You can hop out any window. You're not going to kill yourself or anything. These doors are able to be open and closed. Sometimes I just like having my big sliding door open just so I can look at that bad boy. So like I said, this farm was here already. I guess in gameplay, it says that my grandfather left me the farm and left a guy over there, his name's Walter, to help be a caretaker. So let's look at this. We were at 700 and something before. Now we're at 800 and something. The 1,000 eggs are gone. Let's take a walk through here. Close the door behind you. No idea what language that is. I'll have to ask my buddy, but I think that's some kind of salt for the chickens. Don't know much about chickens. I just got them because they're loud, make a lot of noise. Get in there. So this is where you feed. You put your grain here, and it automatically goes into this silo. And here's where you could purchase more. Right now, this area is at 361 of the allotted 361 for this chicken coop. You can buy much larger ones, much smaller ones. You can sell these at different prices. Let's see. Let's say I wanted to sell. I could sell my 0-month chickens for $2, 3 months for 13, 6 months for 25, and so on. My roosters are 20. So let's get out of here. Chickens are loud. And check on our contracts. If you look underneath the date, it says what percentage you're at with each contract. So we had 2 before. Again, that weeding contract didn't start because I had the the tractor park at the end of the road. So let's go to that and go ahead and have our AI start that. I believe this is one of the problems. There's a building in the way. So once I get to the end, I'll go ahead and have the AI worker start this project. Again, it didn't cost me any more to use the same equipment that I leased for another property. So that's a good thing. So here I'll switch to this area. Like I told you, I used my own equipment for the fertilizing, so I'll go ahead and collect that money by hitting the square. Mission was collected. And I will move back, fold this up. And since it's pretty close, so I'll go ahead and drive this here. close to an hour of gameplay. So I'm going to try to cut it off. This is going to be on my YouTube channel, I believe. So I can send a link to my buddies at work, so if they're interested in playing, at least it'll give them partially a sense of what it's like and why I've spent 300 hours on this game. I try to play it while everybody's asleep, but I also like bothering people with the game. So, you know, every once in a while, my son will come downstairs and, of course, yell, "Mom, he's on the game again." Let's get lost here. Don't really know where I'm going, but if you look down at the map, you'll have a sense of where you might be. I believe that. That's not my farm. We're close though. If you look, there's a lot of fun parts of this game. The graphics are excellent. The noises are excellent. So, my farm's around here somewhere. I believe it's right here. Yep. So before I park the harvester, I'm sorry, the fertilizer, I want to make sure it's on the back. And then I'll disconnect it. You'll see some things come out, get disconnected. And we're good to go. Let's get out and look and see. It's really not that dirty. I just washed most of my equipment today, so it's not that dirty here. Else I'd be able to show you how it cleans off. Actually, you know what? The roller's dirty, so let's go wash that. I'll hop in this like it's a car, so I'm able to move it. It is portable. Just want to show you how some of this comes off clean. I'll hit L3 to get my hose out and circle to start spraying it. Notice how black it was before. It's coming clean. You could stand here in one place and it would still come clean all over. But I just like moving around just to add to the game a little bit. Alright. I'll turn it off. Move it back. You move this just like you were driving a car. L2 to go backwards. R2 to go forward. Gas and brake. Or reverse. I'm gonna park this on this side. Alright, we're almost at an hour, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. I'll see you on the next one.